So I'm not real sure yet what direction to go. My fear is that, like I said, I feel like this channel took a hit early on, and that's a big part of why it hasn't experienced really any growth over that period. I mean, we are just under 100 subscribers, and that was very hard earned, I can tell you. It was a very slow 100 subscribers, and I've been just hoping to break that mark, that 100 mark, for a while now, and it just seems like I cannot get there. But then this hurt, you know, this big hiatus here I've taken from content. So I'm sure if it would have continued the way it was, we'd be there right now. But we're sitting at like 98, I think, still, and it's just not what I think could be expected from a channel that's that consistent with what I feel like is pretty solid content for the most part. For anybody who does follow along, just know I appreciate you. I really do. I know that time is valuable, and I appreciate you taking the time to check out my videos, especially those who are faithful to them week after week. I really appreciate you, and it's honestly that has provided the motivation to keep going, even when it seemed like it was going nowhere. And so just know I hold that in very high regard, and I take that very seriously. So thank you. Hey, how's it going? I'm Brad Casper. This is Casper's Corner, and I want to do a little update video because I've been away from things here for a little while, almost a month now, I think, and that's because I'd taken on a pretty big project this summer, and that project was installing a 15 by 30 oval above ground pool, and I thought that I'd be able to knock it out, you know, myself within 3 to 5 days, you know, with the assistance of my wife and boys if necessary. And I was quickly humbled by that process. And I'm not going to get into it here, but it has been an absolute battle every step of the way. And yeah, that 3 to 5 days thing, I think it was a foolish thought that I had, thinking I could do it myself in that quick of time. Now, I will say, if I would have went with just a regular round pool, I think that it would have been done. But because I had to go with an oval, yeah, a lot more to it. Anyway, I don't want to get into all that here. I will have another video about some of that information. But I wanted to talk about the channel a little bit. Because, you know, when I started this thing, it's been now, I don't know, like 9-10 months, somewhere in there. And, you know, leading up to starting this, I had done months of research, and I had a pretty solid plan. You know, I had what I thought was a very strong objective here with my content strategy, and that thing that I had been working on, that direction that I had planned to take this whole thing, changed with a major event that took place here almost a year ago now. And when that had happened, I could not make a video about it, because regardless of the direction that I had planned on taking this channel, at its core, it's always been about truth. It's just, you know, it's the foundation of everything for me. And so the whole plan around it was all built around truth. But I veered off the path that I had initially laid out for this channel when this thing had happened, and I just came out swinging, talking about it. And my position on what I thought had happened. And that was because I thought that what had happened was quite possibly a major a major wake up event for this generation, in particular, the younger generations. That's what I saw it as. And I could not, in good conscience, not discuss it. And so I immediately came out with my very first video talking about this topic. And yeah, I think I got off the wrong foot immediately. I think my first two videos, maybe even three videos, were about this topic. And that topic was what happened with Charlie Kirk. And my position has always been that what we're being told isn't the truth here. And I just knew it immediately. And I knew that what would end up coming was this great potential to wake people up to what's actually happening. And so I had to address it. And that's what I did, because, I'm the type, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I could not talk about it. But this was against my strategy. This was against the direction that I had planned on starting. And like I said, I'd worked on it for months, laying out the plans for this and how I was going to pursue this content creation. But instead, I immediately came out swinging, talking about this. And I think that I'm pretty confident that hurt me immediately, because as a new channel, your very first video to come out and talk about like this openly, and you're pushing back against the official narrative, and just, I think immediately hurt the channel. And after it was already too late and the videos were published now, I started to contemplate on this whole thing and the error that I had made and the direction now that I needed to go. And so, being that I thought that this was what was hurting me, because the first few videos really very, very low views. So I knew that this is just not the way that you should open up a channel on this platform. So I had to reevaluate and figure a different route to go. And so I decided to delete these videos. I started another channel because I needed to have this avenue to talk about these things. Because like I said, the core of my message, no matter what it is that we're discussing, it's always the truth is at the core. It's the foundation of everything for me. And so I needed to be able to discuss these things. And I did plan on discussing them eventually after I, possibly grew a little bit of a following and had some reach. Then I would open up and start talking about these things. But I think coming out and talking about it immediately was just not a good approach. And I think that it hurt me. And so I created this other channel to do this. And I put those videos there, or I don't remember if I put them on there or if I just did new videos for there. But regardless, the first videos on that channel were in regards to this topic. And now I started off fresh with this channel, hoping that because it had only been 2 videos and that I wasn't quite established yet with anything as far as a niche, that I'd be forgiven and that we could move on here. And I could keep this as my personal channel, to stick with my objective, which honestly has always been about trying to help people. And over there, we could talk about these other things, And so I started to create the content around, what my initial goals were. And it was thrown off because of all this, but I began to put content out, and I quickly realized that it just didn't seem to have the reach. And I have always felt that this initial way of starting this thing has hurt me. And it just really hasn't, after this many months and being as consistent as I have been with the content, it just really hasn't, just hasn't amounted to much. But I will say that one thing that I am not is a quitter. And I refuse to quit. And I do not plan on quitting this venture here, because I feel a drive to do this that's outside of me. I feel almost obligated to do this because I've been through a lot and I've experienced a lot, and through all of that I've learned a lot. And I think that there's something valuable in that I have to offer, people. And so, for me, this is a mission, and I don't plan on giving up on it, but things are changing here. The priorities are shifting here a little bit with the channel. And I just kind of wanted to give a little update for anybody out there who does, follow this channel and that's, interested in the direction of the future of this channel. I wanted to, talk about some of these things. So, like I said, initially, it was always about helping people, because I realized through a lot of the things that were happening in my life that was what was missing. The life I was living previously was, in my opinion, a selfish existence. And all that I was pursuing was the material aspects of life. That's it. And in so doing, I was only considering myself and, my family and my, the well-being. I mean, this is not wrong. I mean, this isn't, there's nothing wrong with that. But there was always something in me that was bothering me, because the work that I do, the work that I had been doing, it just wasn't helping anybody. And it just seemed empty and hollow, even though that it was, good money and a great job. It was hollow. And, things had happened that kind of changed the direction of all this, and where I was left standing, I felt that it was now time to pursue this thing that had been deep inside of me, which was trying to help people. And so this channel that this video is on has always been about that. And the initial, structure of this channel was always about, to provide a platform to unify, to build a community, and to help people through coaching and consultation. And that's what this channel was initially all about. And that's what it will continue to be about. But, again, the channel just really has not seen much growth, and I'm really unsure of exactly how to proceed here with doing this. But my priorities have to shift here a little bit. With these channels, I've been trying to keep a pretty vigorous schedule in doing 2 videos on my other channel and 3 videos on this channel. And that's a full-time effort, I can tell you. It takes a lot of work to do this. And with the things that are changing here in my personal life and around, my life here, my priorities have to shift a little bit, because my youngest son, public school just is not good for him. And my older son, listen, let me just say this first. My wife is a teacher, and I am against public school, honestly. I would have preferred to homeschool our children and, all of that. But my wife is a teacher, and we ended up, just sending our kids to school. For their elementary years, most were spent with my wife at the same elementary school, which was great, but then we bought this property and we moved, and this property is in a different school district. And so we decided that we would send them to that other school just because they were getting a little bit older. They weren't going to stay in elementary school forever, where my wife works. And this other school just had much more potential in terms of academics and, the sports programs. The other school would have forced my boys into another level of competition and to become better and to thrive more. I felt like in that environment where the competition's higher, the school's rated at a whole different level in terms of, sports than the other school. And so we decided to send them there so that they would be challenged and have to rise up to, to be a big part of those sports programs. And so that's what we did. And, my oldest son is now 14, going into 9th grade this year. So this will be his first year in high school. And he has always thrived in that environment. My younger son just turned 12 in June. And last year was his first year in middle school. And there was a lot of struggles with that transition into middle school for him. And I just realized by the end of the year that this just is not helping him at all. If anything, I felt like it was hurting him. And so to me, the writing was on the wall. It was obvious that what was best for him was to pull him from public school and to, homeschool him. And being in the position I am right now, we're able to do that because I am at home. And so that's the direction that we are deciding to go this year. And so that obviously is going to require much more from me, during the day, being involved in what he's got going on. And so I'm not going to be able to keep up with that previous schedule with these channels. And so, again, I'm not planning on, stopping. But the content schedule is definitely going to change. I'm not sure of all these details yet. I got to work through all this and figure out the best structure for both of us. But that's what's coming here. And, when I say that I'm not going to stop and I'm going to continue, I do plan to still do this. It's just, not going to be at that same consistency, not at the same. I just won't be able to keep up with that schedule, and so I don't know yet what that's going to look like. But I had created another channel in the winter last year that's called the Casper Boys. And that was a channel that was dedicated to me, for me and my boys, as our channel. And it was going to be a channel about faith, family, and fun. And it was just going to be, outdoor stuff, our hunting ventures, fishing, everything we do, and shed hunting at the time I created it, because I was getting a lot of content, with shed hunting, because that's something that we enjoy. And so I created the channel, but I never ended up, because there was no way at the time I could keep up with 3 channels. And so I created the channel, but never put anything on it. And so that channel's sitting there. And so I'm debating about whether or not to begin putting more effort into that channel and having this whole thing that he and I are doing this year with, dad and son, homeschooling, because there's going to be, aside from the school aspects of it, there's going to be a lot of other stuff that gets integrated into the day. Because one thing that's always bothered me about the public school system is that, in my opinion, almost half the day is wasted. It's wasted time. And this time it's wasted, and it's not half. It's more like, now, after we've looked at the schedule for homeschooling, it's like 5.5 hours that's going to be required each day for the schoolwork. And so again, it still leaves 2.5 hours plus the hour each way bus ride for him to do something else, because that extra time at school, it wasn't good for him. And I think that time could be used to benefit him greatly, and to help him to grow as an individual. And so, I have a lot of plans on what that's going to look like and things that we'll be doing to fill in that time. But I thought it would be interesting content as well. And he's very social, very interested in all of this, and I know he'd very much enjoy being a part of it. And so, I've been kicking around the idea of bringing that channel online and starting to put some stuff in there when we get rolling here. But then there's also the idea to just continue to do that here on this channel. So I'm not real sure yet what direction to go. My fear is that, like I said, I feel like this channel took a hit early on, and that's a big part of why it hasn't experienced really any growth over that period. I mean, we are just under 100 subscribers, and that was very hard earned, I can tell you. It was a very slow 100 subscribers, and I've been just hoping to break that mark, that 100 mark, for a while now, and it just seems like I cannot get there. But then this hurt, this big hiatus here I've taken from content. So I'm sure if it would have continued the way it was, we'd be there right now. But we're sitting at like 98, I think, still, and it's just not what I think could be expected from a channel that's that consistent with what I feel like is pretty solid content for the most part. It just doesn't seem to be getting the reach, and I feel like that's why. And so I don't want that to hurt these future efforts if I try to do something with him. And so I'm not sure yet what we're going to do there, but I wanted to just put it out there for anybody that's interested, because we are going to do a lot of things that I think would be interesting for people. And I think it's content that people can appreciate and possibly enjoy and find interest in. And so I do plan on, doing something with that, and I still plan to continue to put out content, here on this channel with the stuff that I've been doing. But I'm probably going to begin to focus more in on the programs initially that I had created, and the things that I felt were valuable in what I had to offer. So there's going to be more focus. It's going to be more driven by the focus on those things than a lot of the other stuff, because that's another thing that could possibly be hurting the channel, is that I'm not niched down. If I would have picked a niche and stuck to talking about one topic and all that, it probably would have helped. I think that could be what's hurting me a little bit, is I'm all over the place, right? I mean, one day I'm in the garden, the next day I'm talking about, mental health. The next day I'm talking about, whatever. And so it's kind of all over the place. And when you do that, it does make it harder for the algorithm to deliver your videos to the proper viewer. And, so I'm sure that has a little bit to do with it, but I don't think that that's all of it. So, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. For anybody who does follow along, just know I appreciate you. I really do. I know that time's valuable, and I appreciate you taking the time to check out my videos, especially those who are faithful to them week after week. I really appreciate you. And it's honestly that has provided the motivation to keep going, even when it seemed like it was going nowhere. And so just know I hold that in very high regard, and I take that very seriously. So thank you. Yeah, so that's really all I got. I kind of just wanted to do a little update here, let you know what was going on and where things are headed. And so if you're new and that sounds of interest to you, please subscribe to the channel. Love to have you. We do a lot of different things here, a lot of different stuff. Basically, you know, homesteading, you know, being independent, self-sufficient, minimalization, you know, trying to break away from all of these dependencies on this corrupt system. You know, faith is a big part of it. Truth is at the core of it. And, you know, due to my experiences with loss and grief and, you know, trauma and coming back from all of that, I think that that's where the real value's at. And so that's you know, also a big part of the channel. And so, yeah, if you haven't yet, subscribe. Love to have you. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. But we're definitely not going away. So stay tuned, and please like the video, comment. Love to hear from you, and subscribe. I'm Brad Casper. We're out.